my shoulder.
We'll get
I figured raise my
Baker
hand.
to say the invocation, and Commissioner Kevin, I appreciate it.
Please stand by your head. Father, how we thank you for another opportunity and another privilege to come and serve for your people, Lord. We pray and ask that you would touch our hearts and our minds and enable us to make the right decision for your people today. Father, as always, we give you glory, give you praise and honor for all the things you have done in our lives. And we thank you for this day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Double justice.
Okay, next we move to citizens' comments, or excuse me, agenda additions, correct? Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we have agenda additions.
Does anybody have any agenda additions? I see none. And move to our next item.
Citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward it to myself or the commission clerk. Comments by any citizens will be limited to 3 minutes. I have no comments. Mr. Hopkins, do you have any?
No, sir.
Okay, our next item.
Next, we have no visitors. We move to reports, administration report.
Dr. Wilson?
Yes, sir. We have a couple of items today. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
We are pleased to notify you that the comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ending in December 31, 2012 qualifies for the Certificate of Achievement of Excellence in Financial Reporting. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in government accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. So Ms. Erica Bryan and her team, and of course the administration as well as all the commissioners, we ought to be proud that our budget process got recognized again for the Certificate of Achievement, and this is very prestigious. So I just want to let you all know that we are continuing the tradition of getting these awards every year.
Congratulations.
You want to take a bow, Eric?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. Hey, Commissioners, the next item I need to brief you all on is we talked about Homeland Security before, and you are understanding that that's going to be separated. Bozier has already hired their director, and we talked about a month or two ago about us going our separate ways. And come July 1st of this year, we will have to have our own separate office on this side of the river to run our Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. And we have a job. We met with the mayor as well as the sheriff talking about this item, and we put together a job description, which I have a copy with me. We met with the sheriff last week. Commissioner Dominic and Randy met with the sheriff to discuss this plan, and we intend to keep the same structure that we have now, where we have executive council, which consists of the 2 mayors, the 2 administrators, and the 2 sheriffs, that they will be the administrative part of this function, but instead of having 2 of each, we only have 1 of each, 1 sheriff, 1 mayor, and either the parish president, his designate, which in this case will be perhaps me, will represent our executive board for the Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness for Caddo Parish. So we had a cost-sharing basis. The city paid into this, the sheriff paid into it, and Caddo Parish paid into it. So what we have to do is get the ball rolling now towards fully setting up an office to man this function. And the administration is suggesting, and in concurrence with the sheriff and Commissioner Dominic in the meeting, and as well as the Mayor Glover, that perhaps one organization to be responsible for the oversight in terms of the day-to-day functionality of the people that work in this department. And we agree that it should be the Caddo Parish Commission, because we have the ultimate responsibility for Homeland Security for the whole parish. So we thought what we would do is come up with a manager's title and put this position under the administration, and this position will report directly to this board for natural disasters and so on and so forth. But the day-to-day daily functions will be aligned under the administration, so the president wouldn't have to be concerned about the day-to-day what goes on with this office. And we thought that we would bring this before you on May 5th. It'll be on your agenda for consideration because it will require an ordinance because to add another position, it's a matter of funding. And when you see the job description, it'll tell you the salary range is $60,000 to $90,000 salary range, that's consistent with this position. We also, the position will be housed in the emergency 911 center on Texas. We've already spoken to Ms. Martha. She agrees that she has the space to house this person. And we're looking at posting the position on the 23rd of May and closing it out on June 6th. And
You're advertising, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Okay. And do the interview starting on June 10th, and on June 13th, select someone, and also had them ready to go on June 16th. That gives us about 2 weeks. And we suggest that this process to pick someone should consist of the sheriff, the mayor, and perhaps Commissioner Dominic. They can go through the candidates, and an HR person could go through the candidates and select someone. And
Perhaps.
pardon me.
So perhaps. Go ahead,
Well, we don't have a choice. We select someone,
Right.
get them on board,
I was a firefighter. I think I can pick it better than he can.
so we can go ahead and get this.
Well, actually, the state statute says that the commission president is the one that would actually pick the person, but we've obviously been
That's-
meeting on this for
That's correct.
quite some time, and we want to
That's-
work with the mayor and the sheriff to
That is absolutely correct.
to come to a amicable agreement. So.
Right.
That's it.
That's correct. State statute gives us the authority to run the Homeland Security for the parish. That's correct. As stated.
And just want to let y'all know before y'all start talking, because we have a lot of them. We have been meeting, I've been meeting myself, Dr. Wilson, the sheriff, and the mayor have had several meetings concerning this, along with Assistant Administrator Lucky. This is very important to the parish that we move forward. We have to move forward in an expedited manner to get this taken care of, and we will continue to do that. And I'll continue to represent the parish the best I can.
Yes, sir.
I am and have been involved in all of the discussions, and will continue to do so, and hopefully we can reach an amicable agreement. Commissioner Johnson,
I don't think he was through yet.
you through with it?
Yes, sir. Well, that's pretty much it in a nutshell on that item. But I have one more.
Okay.
Should we discuss this one before I go on?
No, sir.
Well, why don't we talk about this, because I think everybody on board is, there's several
Okay.
commissioners that want to talk concerning this issue. So, will Commissioner Johnson?
Okay. Under the present system, I think there's about 4 employees.
No, sir. They had as many as 12 at one time.
I know, but they downsized at one point.
Yes, sir. They downsized because of funding.
Right.
The grants went away.
Right.
And so, based on lack of funds, they had to downsize appropriately to what funds they had existing for the positions.
So how many they got now?
Actually, I think they have about 3 people, but we thought that perhaps we would start with at least 2 persons on this side. A person to be the manager and someone to back that person up in the case of their absence. And that could be the administrative person as well. And it may change over time if it proved to be more work than 2 people can handle. But right now, we think 2 people should be able to handle our end of it, because it's mostly just coordinating between the agencies that exist, like the sheriff, the fire department, and 911 emergency response.
Okay. We have a salary range for that admin or that second person?
Not yet, sir.
Okay.
We thought we'll get the manager on board and have them hire the administrative person to assist them.
Okay, so in case of a disaster, we'll be looking at one person being the manager as the lead person, administrator. How is that going to affect the shelter sites?
What?
Shelter sites.
The shelter sites? Shelter sites are contracted by the state.
I know, but typically when you had 3 or 4 people, they kind of managed it with 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Now that you're going to 1, 2 people,
Yeah, I think the agencies that own the facility manage the facilities. I don't think the homeless.
they was managing the old
the old
Sam's.
Sam's warehouse,
Right,
which is a state contract.
right.
for all of the services.
Right.
The sheriff's
But
department
they
will be
stayed on
involved
top
too,
to
will
make
he?
sure that they got the
Right.
equipment there that they
Right,
need.
that's correct.
Randy, did you have a comment on that? What did you-
The sheriff's department will be involved, instead, when you say one man, that's quasi, because that one man, whomever that person is, they will be working directly with the sheriff's department, the city police, the firefighters, the first responders, as to where he'll be directing where they'll, folks to the shelters. So he'll have, there'll be plenty.
And Commissioner Johnson, we may have to adjust that manpower equation based on load demand. But right now, we need to get started.
Okay.
And-
And they will be housed at the 911 center on
Yes, sir.
Texas Avenue?
Yes, sir.
That's a suggestion, that's what,
I mean, that'd be the least cost one.
that's what we're thinking about at this point.
That'd be the least cost one. It's already
Ye-
there.
yes, sir,
Already
it is.
maintained. No utilities to have to pay.
No, the utilities.
That's exactly why we're,
Yeah, they have a dedicated tax that they
Right.
fund the operation of the facility. Ms. Martha said
And
it's.
even before, now, even when it was Caddo Bossier,
Uh-huh.
they utilized the 911 center because they have a.
No, sir, they use a facility on
That's
Doctor's
one in
Drive in
Bossier.
Bossier.
Yeah, but they also had that one too. Just-
Yes, sir,
they
it's a
had
backup.
both. Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. You're right. That's it.
Commissioner Baker?
You don't know what the total cost is for this?
No, ma'am, not yet. We have this, the city was paying $176,000 a year, and we were paying about 30-something thousand, and the sheriff was paying 18,000. But we think we can operate on maybe half that budget.
Okay. I remember last year when this came up, when I was serving as president, and I remember we were talking about it out here on the floor, and it was quite a bit of controversy about it. And we had several commissioners who were concerned about whether we really needed the Homeland Security Department or not. And so,
Commissioner Baker, and I don't mean, but the state statute says that we have to have it, okay? And whether we have one person or two persons, and there, that's going to be the ultimate decision, and there's some paperwork and things that have to be filled out, and some certification that this person has to do.
Right.
But as the sheriff says, if there's a disaster, the sheriff's office is going to respond, the fire station is going to respond, they're going to do what they're going to do.
That's what I remember is.
Right, but the problem is that Bossier decided, that they wanted to house and have their own director, and we're at the point where we have to do the same, and we want to continue to work together with the mayor and the city of Shreveport, because they have a lot at stake because of the funding issue that they provide and bring to the table. But the state statute specifically says, if I'm correct, and Donna, you can tell me otherwise, it specifically says that the president of the parish commission or the police jury is the one to be over this and appoint this. But we have done a joint effort and would like to continue to do a joint effort with some type of cooperative endeavor agreement between us, the city, and the sheriff to make this happen.
So we're mandated by the state to set up a department.
That's
That is correct. We
Not
can't
necessarily
just
department, they
do away
have
with
to
it.
function.
Well, let me ask you this, it has to be full-time, it cannot be contracted?
Man, I think you need to have a full-time person.
Because it's like we don't have disasters every day.
There's a lot of,
You know,
hang on one second, hang on. Commissioner Baker, there's a lot of paperwork to do with this. I mean, obviously, I think that everything that we said, that it would be someone, at least one full-time person.
You have to do pre-plans to
Yeah.
have those.
And it has to be submitted to the fire department, to the city of Shreveport, to different
state.
funding agencies in the states and things like
And
that.
federal government.
Okay, well,
It's too much work for a contract, man. We had to have that control. It need to be in-house.
today is my first time hearing that we were mandated by the state to have, because I thought it was just us deciding, when I heard about it last, we were just deciding if we were gonna cut ties with Bossier. And now we're talking today about going into a corporate endeavor agreement with the city to house a Homeland Security Department. And we all know, everybody up here know what half of the people up here think about going into a corporate endeavor agreement with the city. And half of them don't even trust going into a corporate endeavor agreement with the city. I'm just being honest about it. So, what I would like to see before we just ultimately put this on the agenda and make a decision about it is for us to see exactly what we need, how much we need, what we're having to do and what the city's gonna do, and then know if they're gonna do their part. I mean, not just by them sitting in a meeting with some of you all and saying they're gonna do their part. So,
Well, the problem is we can tell them no, and we can do it ourselves. I mean, we're mandated to do this. We have to, the parish has to do this. So our conversation, and my conversation with Dr. Wilson has been specifically is, if they're going to help out, it's gonna be a
well, are
good
we
thing.
saving money by going into a
Yes, ma'am. Either we share the cost or we pay it all.
We either share the cost or we pay the whole thing. It is our duty by state statute to provide the Homeland Security director or department, if that is correct. We have typically, it's been a group, and in the past, it's been the city of Shreveport, the parish commission, also the Bossier Parish Police Jury, and the Bossier City had a designated person that would,
Yeah.
you know, and of course
Yeah.
you know because you've been
Right.
in this position. But due to the fact that the way that it's going has changed, we felt that we would try to continue to work, just making sure it was here and call it Caddo Shreveport Homeland Security Department, I think.
So this 60 to 90,000 for this director is not just the parish responsibility.
No, ma'am.
It's the parish and the city's
I
responsibility.
mean, we.
And the sheriff.
We.
And the sheriff.
We're advocating that the same funding structure we have now stay in place where we cost share the functionality of this position.
Okay.
And right now, and, but I would say we can't, hesitate in going forward, even though we may have some reservations, because come 1 July, we had the capability to respond in case something happens.
And that's fine. It's April now. We got time to at least get all this information you were telling us today. Somebody need to give it to us so we can look at it.
I'm not sure what is it like. I mean, we're gonna have to do a cooperative endeavor agreement like we have right now, and we have signed that agreement every 3 to 4 years, and then the last one was signed was by, I think, Mr. Pearson, when he was the president of the commission. It's renewed every so often, but that went away since it existed since 1957. We had to forge a new agreement between the sheriff department, the city of Shreveport, and Caddo as to how we would run this department. And I think we'll go along the same lines that we had when we were in joint venture with Bossier. It shouldn't differ that much.
You don't have it in writing?
Yes, ma'am, I have the existing one, yes.
Okay, we can see that.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
And let me just say that, you know, our conversations with the mayor he is very agreeable and wants to be on board to work with us along with the sheriff. So, we've had several conferences and understand that this is extremely important in
Yes.
case we do have a disaster, and we are obligated to have that department.
We have a budget. We have a budget already set up for that.
Yes, we have a budget for the existing operation,
Right.
but being this will be a new one, that will be predicated on everybody's cost share of that, and we would have to structure a new budget for it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How are we gonna vote for something we don't have cost share on? We don't know what we're
We have cost share right
voting
now.
on. All we know is we voting on your assumption of 60 to 90,000
No, ma'am,
for director.
No, we're going to have, I need to get the director hired, so we can
Find out
go
what the
forward
salary
and do
is.
the budget as well. Because we're gonna cost share the budget. We have in mind what we pay right now. We have that. And if the city continue to pay what they pay, and the sheriff pay what he pays, we will have more than enough money to run it.
So you're basing this on what they're already paying?
Yes, ma'am.
And-
And we don't think they were required, because the city pays almost $200,000 by themselves,
And what do we pay?
38,000.
And Commissioners, when we present the ordinance on the 5th, we'll have the budget amounts that we're expecting that it cost us, factoring in the reimbursement request. But
You have it before the 5th?
we can put it together, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I was asking. I was asking the wrong person. Can you put this
Excuse me.
together?
Man, we could put together based on, we'll have, it will be an estimate of what we think the manager's salary would be, the administrative salary, and the benefits associated with those
Right.
two positions, as well as supplies for those particular positions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. That's all, Mr. President.
You got all your questions
Yes,
answered? I want to be sure and get them.
I got them down, thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most of the business administrative questions I want to ask, but I don't think, one thing man can't predict is when God want to move on planet Earth, an act of nature, we can't stop it.
Nope.
You can pre-plan all you want, but it's good that we have tried to forecast the future because we knew the unfunded mandate by the federal government passed on to the state would eventually be passed on to us. Regardless of the city or whoever gets involved, we're mandated by law that the parish take the lead in providing homeland security for the citizens of Caddo Parish. And that's what we need to be thinking about. Even if nobody else comes to the ante up to the table, in the day, it falls on our back.
You're exactly right.
It falls in our laps.
That's right.
So regardless of it, we can't worry about what others do. In this particular situation, it's mandated by law. So I like the work, the direction we going in. You know, we live in a world of change. And unfortunate, oftentimes change come by not without resources to go with it, but they make laws and pass it on to the parish, which I think is unfair.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, regardless of what I feel, the law says we have to provide this for the citizens in July. And I will wait until the structure of the partnership with the different collaboration of the body. Being a former Shreveport firefighter, I do understand the business of evacuation and emergency and collaboration and partnerships. And I think we already have that here. They do the fire department, the men and women who serve in these 5 districts, who serve in these, the sheriff and the city of Foley, they all do a great job in time of disasters. We have one of the best sheriffs and fire departments and police departments here in America. Unfortunately, there are times in this time where sometimes money becomes a problem and power struggle, who controls it, but the law says specifically, Caddo Parish.
That's right.
Police jury has a responsibility. And I saw this one coming, that everybody want to have their own homeland security, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. And based on what I'm hearing from the reports from you regarding our financial situation, our credibility, we're creating a culture of integrity and ethical financial management here. And I feel the taxpayer would feel comfortable by us having a major role in how it's going to be structured and funded. So I think this administration has the expertise and have shown throughout that they can come up with a shared formula, where it'll be a win-win for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's about the taxpayers in our community, in our city, in our parish. So I think Mr. President, I think we're on the right course of action. And I think July, I think you would be engaged to hire the most competent, qualified person that can lead us, to navigate us through these type of disasters. And we have several good people here in Caddo Parish and Shreveport and Bossier and in the region. So I look forward to what you put before me, and I can make an intelligent, wise decision based on what's before me and how it's going to be funded. So I look forward to that, and I appreciate all the work that this administration is doing. We take little notice to what they're doing. You don't just get the award because they just want to give them to you. They are earned. Amen. They are earned. Anybody can have a Moody bond rating with a AAA, the first in this state. That tells you this parish, the leadership up here, it works better when they work together. And they're not confrontational like some government bodies here. And I like the work we're doing here. We don't always agree. We don't always agree up here. But we agree to be disagreeable and we respect each other. Whatever we do it behind closed doors. I learned even to do that. I found out it works. Mr. Thibodeau. But I look forward to working with the city and the parish administration and our president. And I think he's going to navigate us in the right direction. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynn?
Thank you for this document printed 14 days ago. The way that the Homeland Security worked in the past was that the mayor of Bossier had it one year, the parish commissioner of Caddo Parish had it the next, and as far as being the president and the controlling director of that board.
That's right.
Then it went to the president of the police jury of Bossier, and then it went to the mayor of the city of Shreveport, and it rotated between those 4 people. Who's the 5th?
6.
Who's 6?
Bill Altimus and myself.
But y'all were administrators. Y'all were.
Yeah, but
y'all weren't
actually assigned by the state of Louisiana. The people who are assigned by the state is not even so much this board of 12, but the president, who is the current president. And so it's my understanding by state law, and prove me wrong in writing, that the president, the current president of the Caddo Parish Commission, is the person who makes the decisions, and that if we want to agree that the president's power gets diluted, then we can then do so. I feel like the president's power is being usurped.
I disagree. Can I say that? Let me see. No.
Explain it again, man.
Let me tell you, Donna, and help me out. The state statute says ultimately that it's in the hands of the, I guess, the chairman of the police jury or the president of the parish commission. I don't feel that my power has been usurped. I've just simply been trying to work and meet with Dr. Wilson along with the mayor and the sheriff to make sure everybody's on board, realizing that we need to continue a good working relationship on this issue if we can. I mean, ultimately, if things got bad, then, I could appoint Kevin back there, I guess, but
You can appoint whoever you want.
whoever I want, but I think and I realize that it would behoove us, at least it's my position, that it would behoove us to work with the mayor and the sheriff to try to get reach an amicable agreement for all these issues.
Yes.
And I'm very comfortable with that, and I think that it is best that we all work together, but at the same time, I think we also need to recognize that there was a structure put in place by the state of Louisiana that does put whoever is the president of the commission in ultimate decision-making control.
The mayor,
not even so much us, but the president.
the sheriff knows that as
Yeah, I
well
think
as the mayor.
everybody-
They're both very, very aware of that.
I think the last for the month-to-month functionality, the president, I've been on the Homeland Security Board for the last 8 years, and the president never attended any of the meetings. They delegate me to go to the meetings, but when it comes down to declaring an emergency, the Caddo president always does that because Commissioner Bowman, in 2005, we had an emergency meeting during the Katrina, and she declared an emergency for the parish. So that position always falls within the president. He never advocated that. We just never had to exercise it over the past recent years because we didn't have any major catastrophic disasters that hit the parish.
They make it happen.
But the functionality of it, that board meet every other month, and Chef Prater attended, Julian, the chef president, the sheriff from Bossier attended, Bill Altimus attended, Mayor Walker, Mayor Glover, and I just represented the president. But it wasn't anything to the player other than normal operating procedures.
And I've actually gone to one or two of those meetings.
Yes, you have.
Because they've kind of coincided with their.
That's
Well,
correct.
today I heard that you could be invited if you wanted to go. That's what you said.
Well, I mean,
And so I would hope that he realizes that if we're looking at a pyramid, that the president of the commission is
yeah.
at the top. Thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, both Commissioner, let's see, Johnson, you're back on the board since both of y'all spoke. Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask administration
Yes, sir.
if they knew off the top of their head how is it handled in the home rule charter? Because our charter is a lot different from
Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Homeland Charter, we just went along with the state
Home rule,
provisions. Pardon me?
home rule charter,
Yeah.
ours.
Yes. It still follows state protocol, and the president being the person had the responsibility to declare emergencies for the parish and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Donna, do you have anything to add? Are we all pretty much on board with this?
Yes, so far.
Commissioner Baker?
You said this was enacted in 1950?
The cooperative endeavor agreement we have currently now was enacted in 1957. Prior to that, it used to be the Office of Civil Defense. And it changed in 1957.
That's right.
It became with the
So I'm
combined-
talking the mandate. The mandate's been in effect since the 50s?
Yes, ma'am. I mean,
Well, I'm just, reason why I'm asking is because I remember Ken saying Back in the day, the
92,000 for.
parish taking care of that, they didn't have Homeland Security.
Since 1957, we have an agreement upstairs, ma'am. We have had this structure since 1957.
I think it was called Civil Defense back then, what Homeland Security.
Yeah.
No,
It changed in 9/11, the Homeland Security, but it was the Office
It
of
was
Civil...
operated the same way?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you had someone
Since
hired?
Yes.
So it wasn't the commission and the sheriffs, the mayor getting together and deciding what they were gonna do
No, ma'am, it was the same
during
structure
the
since...
disaster?
Like Groundhog
Right, same structure since 1957.
Okay. I'm just repeating what I heard him say.
Yeah, I understand.
That's all.
Okay, unfortunately, there's some commissioners that are missing and not here. I'm sure they're gonna have a lot of questions.
Yeah, it
We're
is.
probably visiting this again. So,
I have one other item.
hang on. If anybody has any questions or concerns about this, please give me a call, or I'll be glad to meet with y'all individually if y'all have any questions on this. But just believe me that this is something we've been on top of since I was appointed
When I call, I want
president
some help.
and working on. Okay? Do what now?
When I call, I want help.
You need to get
That's
on the
somebody
phone right
part-time.
now.
911.
Get on the
Commissioner
phone right
Williams,
now.
if you call, I will declare an emergency.
I'm telling you, you need to get on the phone right now and start calling.
Okay. Dr. Wilson?
Yes, sir, one other item. Ms. Simone Hennessy called me today
Yes.
and expressed her sincere appreciation for the commission's help in the past regarding the shelter for battered women.
Yes.
And she told me today that it's about $520,000 annually to operate the shelter, and they don't have the funds because there's been a steadily reduction in federal and state funding, and they can no longer afford to fill in the gaps. And she also told me she had about $900,000 shortfall in her core organization as well. So they're going to make sure that they pass the baton to someone worthy to provide the service, but they can no longer do it. So that's why they had to get out of the providing that shelter management. But she appreciate the work that we have done and the funding support we provided.
Okay. You got some, and obviously, I think everybody's aware of that because it was all
Yes.
over the news and the
There's-
newspaper.
Yeah, there's a meeting tomorrow. The Community Foundation called a meeting for tomorrow at 1 o'clock to discuss this, to see if anything else, last-ditch effort could be made to salvage it. I don't know the agenda, but I was just asked to come to the meeting today at noon for tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So that's all that I know in that current situation, sir.
All right. Commissioner Williams, back on the board.
Yeah, I saw it on the news and it's very disturbed. When you look at all the battered and abused women in America, especially in Shreveport over the last just 2 or 3 weeks. Some people get shot with domestic violence and never get a chance to tell their story, but I was in a little girl home the other day who had been shot by domestic violence and lived to tell her story. She's in the process of getting a transplant right now. To not find funding for this, and it affects all of our families. Somewhere down the line in our family, somebody's been touched by this domestic violence, whether you want to admit it or not. We all have dealt with this in some capacity in our life or in our community. And if anything else, we need to try to work hard with whoever to try to find funding, unused funding to support the shelter. The plan, they should have been talking about a plan B when they knew that the funding was going to be cut a while back. Why now all of a sudden, at the wee hours of the day, it's being cut? We should have been forecasting and pre-planning. If we would have known, the community would have known at hand that this was about to happen. That's why you got to have a plan B, plan C, D, whatever. But forecasting what's coming down in the future in terms of funding being cut. And now all of a sudden it shows up on TV they're being cut. What's going to happen to these people? Shreveport need to tell the what's going to happen to these battered women, have no shelter to go to. What, they have to go on the street? I'm saying I'm mad. I'm disappointed in the lack of coordination and information regarding the cutting of the funding for this program that's so needed, not only in this community, but in America, domestic violence. So we hope that we can engage in some intelligent, wise discussion about the future of this shelter for these battered and abused women in our community, in our nation. And to let it just fall by the wayside on deaf ear would be unfair. We'll be neglecting our judiciary responsibility in ensuring that people like this that have no advocate, that have some type of protection and loophole. Where they go end up at the fire station? Where they send kids that are missing? We got to come up with some. This is unacceptable.
I can invite her to come
Yeah,
Thursday.
this is unacceptable to let it fall in the lap how it got advertised to the community. Because we had enough time to forecast. We know funding was cut. Should have been talking and speaking and informing us about what's going down the pipe. So I'll be looking to seriously be involved in trying to find outside funding, because we can't bail everybody out. You know, we can play out, we can engage in partnerships and help, but we can't make this government so big we'll become effective to nobody. I mean, we have a role to play, but everybody else, the community will have to step up. The private sector got to step up. Grants got to step up. The federal government, the state. Stop putting all this unfunded mandate and burden, because we have a windfall of resource. We are governing well with the resources. But we don't want everybody to end up and come in and think we should be a bank for the city of Shreveport and the citizens. But we have an obligation to provide a service to the parish of Caddo Webb. But we do have some fiduciary responsibility based on providing public safety for all citizens of this parish. And I hope we can engage in some more dialogue to help this program stay afloat. I'll be looking forward to engaging in those conversations.
Commissioner Baker?
So she's like, what, over $1 million in deficit?
900,000.
She said
Yes, that, $1 million.
she receives 75% of her funding from the state and the federal government, and those sources have been drying up, and they've been having to fill in the gap. But she says she can no longer afford to do that because she don't have the money for her own core operations, and they're suffering from reductions in givings as well.
This is that new entity that she has, the new, it's not the Providence House.
No.
It's that new battered women
Yes, over
entity.
on Jordan.
Jordan.
Right.
Unlike Commissioner Williams, I mean, she just got this message that the funding was cut?
She made a request for us. We're funding it this year ourselves, but perhaps she didn't get enough money to sustain the program. Because I think we $20,000, Donna, is the number. You all provided funding $20,000, but her budget is $520,000. It's a far cry from having sufficient funds. So obviously, no one else came to the aid of providing funding, so they at the end of the road.
Wow. That's crazy.
No other private organizations wanted to partner with her or anything?
There used to be
Did
the
she
Y.
say?
There used to be the YWCA, remember? And
Right.
the source of their funding came from
No,
United
this is
Way.
different. She did this after the Y closed down.
Right. That's what the
This is
funding.
totally different from the
She
Y.
took over
The funding goes over with
Yeah.
She took over
from the
the
Y.
protective orders and things like that. that
She didn't get
filed by
funded from the Y
YMCA.
because the Y had no funding to give her.
No, I
That's
said
the
she
reason
took
why
it over
overhead.
from the Y.
Yeah.
The Y used to be responsible. They got funding from United Way, but the funds did not follow the mission.
Right, because it was totally different, really. It's a different entity, different company. But what I'm saying is she didn't solicit other private organizations in the community and see.
I can invite her to the meeting Thursday.
Yeah,
we need
can
to
we,
do
can
that.
we get her to the meeting Thursday?
we will.
I mean, this is an important issue for us. Todd, do we have to amend the agenda to put her on the,
You need to make her a visitor.
for Thursday? That's right. Do we need to amend the agenda?
The administrator can actually bring her under his report.
Woody, I would request that you contact her
Yes, sir.
and
We're
bring
gonna
her
invite
under your report
Yes, sir.
as a visitor on your report, so we don't have to amend the agenda, because
We will.
obviously this is a very important issue, we all realize, and so maybe we can find out a little bit more detail, because she's gonna have the main answers for us.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, also, could you ask her for a point of information to get the reported domestic violence cases I know we can't get the unreported one, but the domestic violence cases or homicides that dealing with domestic violence here in Caddo and Shreve, or just what about in the Northwest, especially Caddo Parish specifically?
Commissioner Johnson?
Kind of drew a blank, but with it, I noticed over the weekend that everybody was taking a lead and trying to find somebody to take that position or take that organization, take that position. And I think as the Caddo Parish Commission, we also should be there with them in the front instead of being in the back. Because when we're in the back, then that means whatever they can't do, they're going to be looking for us to do. So if we can step in that lead, I know the mayor has stepped up and said that he was trying to take the lead and trying to find an organization. State Representative Patrick Williams also was trying to find funding while he was down in Baton Rouge. So if we can kind of touch bases with them in the beginning, and we can be a part of that situation to come up with a solution instead of being on the back end. And they put this plan together, then they say, well, we need the commission to help us out. But when that happens, we always get put in with the
Gonna come late.
yeah, done to come late, and also
have to
have to pay the most
money.
amount of money when everything else is done in kind.
Well, you know, you heard Dr. Wilson just say that he was invited to the meeting with the COHAB. So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure
Tomorrow.
we will be definitely involved. Dr. Wilson, if you'll keep me informed of what's going on with that.
Yes, sir.
I totally agree that, you know, this is extremely important to our area. Unfortunately, this has happened. Ms. Hennessy will be here Thursday to hopefully answer all of our questions in more detail.
I'm not through yet.
One thing we need is I don't know, let me say this, since y'all interrupted my time.
Hang on, Commissioner Baker.
Ask her to bring up a
Commissioner Baker.
budget, what is that budget of that $900,000?
Okay, the 900 is for the Providence House
Volunteer.
shortfall, but 520,000 is for the domestic center.
Ask her to bring a budget for the $520,000. I'm through now.
Okay, Commissioner Baker, do you yield back to Commissioner Johnson, who had the floor anyway?
I do.
Yield to it, compromise.
Commissioner
I
Johnson?
do.
What's the drop dead date that she said that funding would end
I think end of May.
in the May?
Yes, sir.
So June 1st, there should be something in place, whether the city or state representative can't get nothing done. We should be
I
working
like
on,
that statement.
we should be having something in place temporarily until we can come to a solution.
Yeah.
Because we don't want a battered case to come up and that person have nowhere to go.
I agree.
I think we'll be dropping the ball tremendously as a group, not only us, but the city and our local representatives.
Time for the church to step up.
Right.
They ain't gonna
Yeah,
do
I
it.
mean, even if we have to reach out to some churches to say,
It's time.
temporary,
do it.
can you help us out? Thank you.
Through?
I'm through now.
Commissioner Bowman?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I guess since the administrator is going to have her speak during the report, I can just reserve my comment as to what can be done next.
Okay.
But I guess the next question is, what happens to a dream deferred? That's it.
Oh, you trying to be poetry, huh?
He gonna get a
About a month late now.
poet laureate.
Okay.
He and Commissioner Thibodeau are gonna fight over that next award. Commissioner Thibodeau, you gonna give him a run for money, right? Okay, Mr. Hopkins, I direct you from now on to not have a short agenda, because every time we do, we spend more time talking about stuff, so.
It's Will's fault he got all this stuff to talk about, and I didn't see
Well,
it
that
on his
concludes my
agenda.
report. But they got along with it because Commissioner Baker kept drilling me for information, so otherwise it'll be short.
That's right. Mr. Hopkins, next item.
Next, we move to communications and committee reports. I have a notice that I'm required by law to read. I will read it this time. Notice is hereby given to the Caddo Parish Commission of Caddo Parish, Louisiana. Plans to consider ordinances to adopt levy the parish's ad valorem tax millage for properties within the parish of Caddo at the meeting on Thursday, May 22nd, 2014, at 3:30 p.m. at the Government Plaza, 505 Travis Street, Shreveport, Louisiana. At this meeting, the parish will consider adoption of its general purpose millages, special purpose millages, and debt service millage. The parish will also consider adoption of the values fixed or to be fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on all assessments for railways and other public service corporations, and consider setting the assessments of property classified as timberlands.
You just need to read it.
I just need to read it. It's also will be published in the April 17th official journal.
Okay. Commissioner Williams, you're on board?
Yeah, I'm just going to report that on next Monday, the 21st, the Juvenile Justice Committee is going to meeting regarding the second chance or expungement summit model in Chicago. We're going to discuss that project here and see how we can implement that model here in
It'll be next Monday?
We're going to meet the 21st, lunchtime. We're going to eat a Happy Meal.
That'd be good.
I'll be getting with the
12 o'clock? Okay.
12 o'clock. I'll be getting with the clerk to reach out to the appropriate agency that should be there, and also those members that was at the last meeting to discuss this project. I'm on my way to Chicago, May the 7th, I believe, to the 10th, to investigate the project and see how it was done in Chicago. And also we're looking at some new juvenile justice program that are working that make good common smart sense on how we see juvenile justice in America. Big change, more prevention and not detention. So I'm excited about the change that are going on. Hopefully they can be modeled here. We're doing some great things here and share, network with other ones here. So that's something we'll be doing on the 12th. Also, I met with Miss Michaela. She's on the Animal Shelter Committee regarding a conversation that was at a meeting we was in regarding a pet food pantry. And oftentimes, poor people, when they go to the Northwest Louisiana food pantry, they want to also provide food for their pets. They just don't have the resources because they're trying to feed and fight and provide for themselves. Well, poor people need care and they need animals too, and they love animals. But oftentimes they can't afford them because sometimes they take their meals on wheels to feed their pets. And that's not good. That's not good for in Caddo. So this will be a first. I'm excited to work with the chairman who's done a great job. Commissioner Bowman done a good job in leading us and navigating us to be where we are now. And Ms. Baker had the foresight and the fortitude to appoint him to this bow wow position. And the committee is working hard with the community at large so we can change our outdated policies and our ordinance because we know people love pets. And that's part of our culture now. Whether we like it or not, we're going to have to work together with the pet community. And unfortunately, I'm glad we're off to a good start with them. We don't always agree, but I believe we're channeling a course where we can meet the fork in the road and be a win-win for all the citizens in our community. But if we ever need it now, we need it to provide food, basic food, not only for poor people, but poor people also love pets as well. So we're excited about being the first. There are other models across this country, but we'll be the first. Northwest Louisiana Food Pantry has agreed to help facilitate. There will be 3 other sites. I left information for all the commissioners. Did you get them in your box?
And check my box.
And I asked them to even email it to you. This lady, she should be commended for the work, the volunteerism she put in to get it to this point with it. She didn't ask for no money. She wasn't posturing for no media or anything. It's just something she saw that was needed in our community, and she put the time and the energy, and most of all, she put the effort in without any resources. Right. So I want to thank Ms. Michaela for her enthusiasm as she put a lot of energy and time into this project, and that would be I guess it would be Animal Week resolution in the month of May, and they hope to have a press conference down the road regarding what the sites are going to be. Right. So if you have more questions, please call Ms. Michaela. You can have another meeting sometime in the future, Mr. Chairman, regarding the food pantry site and what's the standing of it. So also talked to the administrator regarding a grant writer. That's something Ms. Baker and Ms. Lynch has been very moving forward on, and he shared with me that that's something that he's been working on. They've been in constant communication by email, by telephone conversation, and I think the person director is working on some policies. They're going to meet with the Policy and Procedure Board. Is that right, Mr. Administrator? regarding that, and we know that we're missing out on a lot of grants that we qualify for. And the idea that someone's going to work for free in Bono is an illusion. It's an illusion that you're going to have someone put in this time and effort and energy and resources that we should pay them pro bono. In a real world, that would be nice, but we live in a real world that you got to pay people for what they're worth. And if someone's going to put their time in, we ought to put together a reasonable amount of budget for them so they can work while the grants are being awarded to Caddo Parish. And we have to have it. And we're going to get engaged and be in competition with others. We've got to also have somebody to be in the faces and the conversation of those that award grants to local municipalities and counties, so, and parishes. So I'm excited if we can move forward on that, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Lynn?
In regard to a committee meeting with expungement taken into consideration, will we please have a representative from the DA's office, the sheriff, and the city police?
You're right, yeah. I was going to ask the administration to even look at the state statute regarding expungement and how we can collaborate. It wouldn't be wise to just allow us to take, because there are people that, not only juvenile and adults, that have things on their record which prohibit them to move forward and get good jobs and opportunity, connect them back with the family.
Okay.
So I think it's something we should explore and be inclusive, as you said, to make sure that all the players are at the table so we can have a good team that represent what we're trying to do and what we're trying to go. So I'm excited about that we do have some enthusiasm about trying to give people a second chance for sometimes no fault of their own, being with the wrong place at the wrong time. And we hope to do that as well. Thank you.
That's true.
Next item.
Next, we move to President's Report.
Okay, just a couple of things. I just want to let you know that Commissioner Cox, myself, and Commissioner Smith did meet with the Southern Hills Homeowners Association, went over the issues concerning the tax renewal bond election, providing them information so that they can make an educated decision. If there's any other groups that y'all feel that we need to meet with or I need to meet with, please let me know. I'll do my best to get there, or we'll have our administrator or Batman and Robin, if we call them, to show up. There also was a cleanup, citywide cleanup with the Shreveport Green. Would like to get with Donna Hicks, is that right? With Shreveport Green, Donna?
Donna
Curtis, yes. Might want to get with her just to give us an update, because I think there was a lot of cleanup that was done throughout the city, if y'all saw that. So anyway, so our parliamentarian is coming out of order, pressing his button. We'll move to our next item.
I do want to speak on the millage, though. You know,
It's not on the agenda.
But you talked about it. It's on the agenda.
No, it's not. I just said that I went and talked to Commissioner Cox, and Jim Smith and I went to a group and talked about the renewal. So if y'all want,
I like the fact that you are going out.
if you know of any groups that would like to hear that, and I presented it as a, hey, this is what it is,
Right.
and we're going to educate you, or we want to let you know
Right.
what is out there so that you can make a intelligent decision, because people, they just didn't really know all what it's about. So I know that, as I call them, we were calling Batman and Robin, we're supposed to be there.
Who is that?
Woody and Randy was supposed to talk, but they had to go to Baton Rouge, so Spider-Man and Superman, myself and David Cox and
Joker and the Penguin.
Aquaman, Jim Smith were.
You didn't have Sherlock with you, man?
So, we had to, I think after they heard it, they were,
Yeah.
they were very impressed and thought that they understood. And, I just, I think it's important that, we can provide information to people to, let them know so they can make an intelligent, choice. If they want to come up to me and say, Doug, you gave a terrible speech and I'm going to vote against it, that's fine, but hopefully they will, they will learn something. So.
But in our area, we really need to get the word out, be informed intelligently, and I don't mind if the administration come out and inform the public on
I know,
how to be voting.
I know you're doing that, so continue to work on that. I'm providing information, not telling them what to do.
President's
That's right.
report,
For the
not
record, I'm providing
administration.
information,
That's exactly right.
not telling them what to do.
Okay, we're moving to the next item, Mr. Clerk.
We have no old business, we move to new business. Authorize introduction of resolution number 13 of 2014, urging and requesting the Louisiana Legislature to enact House Bill 1168, allowing certain elected officials who serve on the board of nonprofit organizations to participate in transactions involving the governmental entity and the nonprofit organization.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Please vote. That passes 6-0.
Authorize introduction of resolution.
Did you vote, Commissioner Lynn?
I did.
Okay. All right, that
Somebody
passes.
did.
Somebody's missing.
It's not gonna pass six.
Somebody didn't vote.
Dominic didn't move.
Dominic didn't vote. President didn't vote.
Yours just ain't coming up. Raise your hand, yay.
That's 7-0.
I voted yes. Okay, next item.
Authorize introduction of resolution number 14, committing up to $500,000 upon further commitments relating to Project RAP.
So move for Thursday. We can get
Second.
further discussions on it. On Thursday, you have more.
Okay, we do have Liz McCain. If anybody has any questions, or I'll be happy to try to give an update on this, just briefly, if anybody
Yes, sir.
wants me to do this. The Economic Development Committee met this past... Huh?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Somebody asked for that. Call Craig Sims and tell him.
all right.
Please
Hey,
vote.
I think it's important that we do know that some of y'all were not there. The Economic Development Committee met this past week to consider our interest and our intent to provide some economic incentives for a company that is a manufacturing company that would locate in southwest part of Shreveport. That's really all I can say as far as where they're going to locate. It would initially start off with 34 jobs, and over the next several years, hopefully go up to 160 jobs, with the annual salaries a little bit over $30,000. The area that it would possibly locate in is a kind of an industrial area that really needs a shot in the arm for our area. There are still other states that are in consideration. This is not a done deal, and this is simply a resolution for our intent to consider providing this funding if the city will come on board, and also the state. Liz, is that pretty much it?
Well spoken.
If anybody else has any questions, we're happy to try to answer them. Commissioner Lynn?
There's a mathematical equation for figuring out the amount of money that the government would be able to retrieve by helping get a company started with seed money. And it's based on, say, 34 jobs starting off at $30,000 a year would equate to being able to give this company some seed money up to a certain amount. Ms. McCain, are you familiar with that equation?
You gotta come to the mic.
Podium?
She was waiting on y'all.
What that foxtail at? What that is?
Oh, it's resting. That is correct. Different type jobs have a different multiplier than others, like a manufacturing job. The dollars created from those jobs go a lot further than, let's say, retail jobs.
Have you done that equation for this
I have
scenario?
not, but the
Will
state
you
of
do this
Louisiana
equation?
has. Sure,
Thank you. And will you have it before Thursday?
sure,
And will you email it to me?
sure.
Thank
To
you.
all of us? Thank you.
Who should I email it to?
Just
One
email-
person?
Everybody's
No.
first
Just email,
initial, I
hang
think.
on, please. You okay? So I can take care of it. Just email it to Todd, Clerk Todd Hopkins.
Okay.
And Todd will make sure that it gets to all of us, if that's okay. And you do, I think, you need to give your name and address for the record here.
Oh, I'm sorry, my home address or
No,
my,
your business is fine.
Liz McCain, North Louisiana Economic Partnership, 415 Texas Street, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay. And I think we covered pretty much everything else. You know, a lot of this is still under confidential, so
Yes.
we'll continue to move forward with this project, hopefully. Hopefully you can come back Thursday in case we have some more questions, because we do have some other commissioners that are not here, if that's okay, Liz?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything, yes.
No other questions? Can we vote to move this forward to Thursday?
Yes.
Thank you, Liz.
All right.
Thank you for being here. And
Still 6, somebody's not voting.
Mine didn't come in, but I voted yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
I voted yes.
He voted
Show that
yes.
pass 7-0, please. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Authorize introduction of resolution number 15 of 2014, urging and requesting the Louisiana Legislature to oppose passage of Senate Bill 551 relative to labor organizations and labor disputes.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by
That's
Commissioner
great.
Williams. Move this matter to Thursday. Please vote. Oh, Commissioner Thibodeau?
Well, we have some idea of what this bill is all about.
He actually has a copy of it attached. I think, I have a copy of it, I believe. So I'm assuming maybe everybody's got a copy. If you'll
In the
go
blue.
to the website.
Click on the
Yeah,
blue.
yeah, but he want the bill from, you need
It
the
is.
SB 551.
It is, he does have it.
Okay,
I don't
I
see
see it.
Commissioner Epperson has
Click on
attached
the
it.
blue.
Okay.
Or somebody did. Todd, good job.
That ain't
It's
the bill.
there. That's always great.
Yeah, that's just our resolution.
And Mike, I got a hard copy if you want it after.
Oh, there
the-
it is. It's at the first part.
Let's look.
Please vote. Vote. Commissioner Lynn, you want to speak?
I'd like more information than what's in the blue.
Did you look, did you?
If you
did
hit
see
the
House bill?
SB 551, they'll give you the bill.
I don't.
Okay.
It's in the blue.
Hit the SB 551 in the
I'll
blue.
get Todd to make, Michelle, can
Oh,
you?
hang on. Let me see.
That'll give you the bill.
I found it.
Okay. Please vote.
It's the actual bill.
I clicked the other blue.
Okay.
It's two blues.
What?
Who's all on
What
board?
was that about?
I got kicked.
Mine voted counted
What?
already.
I got kicked.
I seem to be the only one with sense. I don't know.
Okay, it passes 7-0, everybody. Next item.
Authorize Mr. Tom Pace and Ms. Diane Capo as visitors to the regular session agenda to present information relative to the Water Resource Festival.
Move to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Please vote.
Got it. I'm on the board.
Commissioner Johnson.
Where's that at?
Where's the Water Resource Festival?
Yeah.
I think it's area-wide. I'm not 100% sure. I know that Tom has talked to me a little bit about this. They're trying to provide, I think, some life jackets and things like that.
They usually do it down the waterfront.
Radio
I
guy?
thought it was somebody else. On the waterfront.
No, this-
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm good.
And next item.
Consent.
Next we have consent.
Okay, Mr. Cox, Mr. Ted Cox, you got anything for us?
Got a motion.
Pacing the floor, you won't sit down.
Everybody else spoke. Okay, to have a motion to adjourn?
Who to join?
Okay.
That's it.
Oh my God.
Ted, you need anything, buddy?
Y'all something else today.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Grendeline. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Okay. Exactly.
Tell them two women.